The next question we have is, how do I archive my mail folder? All right, that's a pretty simple one, but one that you want to stay on top of because we do have email size limitations here, especially people trading in large PDFs, PowerPoint presentations, stuff like that. You're going to find your mailbox filling if you don't routinely archive. It's a pretty simple process, but it does take some thought. So I'll show you how to do it real quick. First thing we're going to do is we're going to open up Outlook again. Seems like everything we do is in Outlook. And the first thing we want to do is, just for a little bit of background, there are two ways to do archives. One is to do it manually, and that's the way I'm going to show you, and that's the way we prefer you do it, is to do it manually. The other is to use what Microsoft calls auto archive, which supposedly automates the process, archives as needed, whenever, on a schedule, stuff like that. We find it doesn't work that well. It has some issues. It's a little bit unreliable. So you want to make sure you're not using auto archive. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Tools and Options. And what we're looking for is the Other tab, which is the second to last tab right next to that Delegates tab we used earlier. And you'll see Auto Archive here. There's a button that says Auto Archive. We'll left click on that. As you can see, it's set right now to run Auto Archive every 14 days. I don't want it to run auto archive. I want to archive myself when I feel it's necessary. So we'll just uncheck that box, and the whole thing is going to go gray. That means it's off. No auto archiving. Hit OK. OK, so now you're safe. And what we'll do now is we'll do it ourselves. So we'll go up to File, and you'll see about halfway down, you see is Archive. Click on that. Now this is the interface for how to archive. It's a little daunting in certain parts, a little obvious in other parts, so we're going to walk through it real quick. The first thing we want to do is make sure it says archive this folders and all subfolders, and it doesn't click on this. We've already turned off auto archiving. We also don't want the auto archive to define what we're going to do. So we're going to have it on archive this folder and all subfolders. Now this is where you want to decide what you're archiving. Typically people archive their inbox, and as it says, this folder and all folders under my inbox, everything underneath it is going to be archived along with it. If you want to just archive, say, this folder right here, you can select that, and that folder and everything under it will be archived, but not the inbox. Generally, we're just going to hit the inbox. It'll get everything in there. Another one that you want to make sure you get, because lots of people forget about this, is this little guy down here called Sent Items. Sent Items tends to be just about the largest folder you have in your Outlook, because you forget how many emails you're sending out, and they don't get deleted. You can put in your Sent Items so you can reference them later. Gets to be big. Gets to be probably close to, no, not exactly the size of your inbox, but getting close to there. And people forget about it, especially when they're doing archives. So you're going to want to archive both of them. But let's start with the inbox. Now, the next item is archive items older than. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can pick a date, and every single email before that date is going to be archived. So I've got it set to 12/24/2010. And if you click on this down arrow, you get the nice calendar, so you can figure out exactly when you want to do. For instance, say you want to do it 31st. Say you want to move on to the next year and do it January 31st. Lots of different options. Let's do December 1st. Wednesday, December 1st, 2010. Now, there's this button right here, include items with do not auto archive checked. Now, for the most part, we don't mess around with that. I know I don't. I never use do not auto archive, especially now that we've turned off auto archive. It's not going to be a big deal. I like to check this just to make sure that we get everything. Then the next thing we want to do is designate the file that we want to save it to. And this is a little complicated. You're going to have to choose. It doesn't ask for just a name like December 1st, 2010. What it wants to do, this is the actual file name, so it's going to be a little confusing. It's going to default to this Outlook folder, and you want to keep this PST here. But in front of that, you can pretty much put anything you want. You can be a little descriptive. For instance, I can say December 1, 2010 archive. So it'll make it a little easier for me to figure out what that is. Hit OK. Now, and the trick with this is that you can do multiple archives into this single file. So say I do the inbox now and hit OK, it'll archive into that file. Then I want to do the sent items afterwards. Well, I want to keep it in the same file because it's the same date range. You can just select this file again and tell it to archive. Now there, it'll just add to it. It won't write over it. So once we do that, we've got the file names selected, we've got the date selected, we've got the folder selected. Just hit OK. And you'll see it down here in the bottom right corner. You're going to see archiving. And depending on how many emails you have, it could be there for a while, could be there as quickly as it was just there for me. Once it's gone, you know it's done. But the great thing is while it's archiving, you can still keep working. You can still keep making emails. You can go to your calendar. Outlook actually still fully functions while it's archiving. It'll be a little slower because it's doing stuff in the background. But then once it's done, as you can see, I now have archive folders. I've got my emails in there, and it's like I said, it's going to have the bottom ones in there. Now, typically, it's just going to call itself archive folders, which isn't descriptive. So you'll want to rename it to something a little bit easier. And the way to do that, you right-click on the archive folder's name here, go to Properties, then you click on the Advanced button. Now I can rename it right here, so I can say it's December 1st, 2010 archive. Hit OK, OK. Now it's a lot more descriptive. It's better than archive folders. It's a lot easier to use and a lot nicer. All right, so for the last question of the day, is it possible to recover a deleted email, and if so, how? Well, there's a couple different stages to this. There's the one you probably already know. If I delete an item, say I've got this email, and I deleted it, where does it go? Well, it's going to go to your deleted items folder. And as you can see right here, it's right there. It's completely accessible. And all I have to do to restore it is to right-click, move to folder, and I can move it back into my inbox. Easy enough. But what happens if, say, I accidentally closed Outlook and it emptied the deleted items? Because I don't know if you have it set up, but when I close Outlook and reopen it, I have it automatically deleting. Oh, I don't have it set up here. I have it set up on my desk. But say we've emptied deleted items, so we'll just do it manually here. Empty deleted items folder. Do I want to permanently delete them? Yes. So now they're all gone. We can't move them anywhere. We can't see them. I guess that means the document's gone, right? Nope. It's still available. Possibly. Depending on how long it's been, you can still possibly restore this. You have to make sure you're still on this deleted items folder. It's not going to work unless you're on that still. But then you're going to go up to Tools, and you'll see Recover Deleted Items. You click on that, and you can actually restore these emails. These are all the emails that you can still restore that you've deleted, permanently removed. They're still here. You can still restore them. So if I wanted to restore that email I had, I'd select it, and then you have this icon up here, Recover Selected Items, selected. And there it is. It reappears back in your deleted items folder. So then you're going to want to take that step again of right-click, move to a more permanent location, or else you're going to accidentally delete it again. So you definitely want to make sure you get it out of there before it happens again. All right. We got a follow-up question to that archive question. Is it a good idea to merge email archive files of any size or anything like that? You can merge them together. It's not horrible if you want to try to make it easier to get to. The problem is that once they start getting a little too large, they get harder to deal with. The operating system and Outlook have trouble with them. You might run into situations where the archive starts getting unusable. You definitely don't want to hit that, because the idea is that you're saving these archive files so that you can use them and reference them later. Typically, when I have a user asking me these questions, I tell them you should probably keep it around 2 gigabytes or lower. If you have any question about how to figure out the size of that, just let us know. Not a problem at all. But yeah, keep it. You don't want to get them too big. They definitely get a little unstable. So yeah, 2 gigs, something like that. It's not really a hard number. But if you need any help with that, just let us know. That wraps it up for this edition of Tech Tips. Once again, my name is Renee Hartle, and if you should find yourself needing tech advice, always remember that it's always available by either calling the support center at extension 3430 or by sending us an email. Hope you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you next week.